I'm going to show you how to make one of the coasters out of the Peeking Dog set from Kreative Kiwi. For this I'm going to be using a 4x4 hoop, 2 layers of wash away stabiliser per hooping, and there will be 2 hoopings. The 4x4 size is the only one where there is 2 hoopings, all the rest are done in 1 hooping. A selection of matching bobbin and threads, some masking tape, T-pins, squizzers, and my fabrics and batting cut to size. You'll find a link to this design in the video description below, and if you would like to take part in our prize draw to win Kreative Kiwi loyalty points to the value of this design, then just keep on watching as details will be given further on in the video. We're going to start off by hooping and pinning our 2 layers of wash away stabiliser. So place your stabiliser over the outside hoop, insert the inside hoop into the frame, and then we're going to pin around the top edge here. I do advise you not to skip this step because this is what keeps all your stabiliser taut, and in turn that will keep your fabric nice and taut as well. So take your pin, any pin with a head will work, place it on top of the frame, push it through your stabiliser, bring it back round and through the stabiliser again, and that will anchor it. You're going to do that on all 4 sides, and the more pins you use, the larger your hoop, the more pins you will use. The important thing about this is that you must stitch the files in the right order. You're going to use file A, which is the coaster element, first, and the dog will be in the second hooping in file B. Today I'm going to be doing the poodle version of this design. So load file 4x4 dog 5A into your machine, along with your neutral bobbin and thread colour. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 1, and that's going to give you a placement outline for your batting. And I'm going with peacock blue. Place your batting over the outline and tape it in place. And I'm using up some scraps today, so I've got a little bit of bag foam here that I'm going to be using rather than ordinary fleece batting that I usually use. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 2 to secure it. Trim away the excess batting from around the edge of the stitch line, taking care not to cut your stitches. And I'm going to need 2 pairs of scissors here possibly, because these don't get into any nooks and crannies, and these tend to stick in to the foam, so if I get stuck I just swap over. So next we're going to add our fabric or fabrics. Now if you're going to do the same back and front of your hoop, you can add your backing fabric now. If you're going to add, for example, some wording with your machine's built-in fonts, I have got a video on how to use them, and I will post it in the video description below for those of you that would like to try putting wording on your coaster. Then you're going to add your fabric, backing fabric, later on. So I'm going to turn my hoop over, place my fabric over the outline and tape it in place. And we're going to do the same on the front. Then you're going to pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 3 to secure it, or them. And I'm staying with the peacock blue. Next is the background quilting, so load your thread colour for that into your machine if you haven't done so already, and then stitch round number 4, and I'm staying with the peacock blue. Load your matching bobbin and thread colour for the paw print motif into your machine, and then stitch round number 5, and I'm going with silver. Load your matching bobbin and thread colour for the inner satin stitch frame into your machine, and then stitch round number 6, and I'm back with peacock blue. If you're adding your backing fabric later on, you don't need to use a matching bobbin for this round of stitching, but because mine's going to be on both sides, I'm using a matching bobbin. If you're adding any text with your machine fonts, now's the time to do it. And then afterwards you would turn your hoop over, place your backing fabric over the back, and then stitch round number 7 to secure it in place. But because I've already done that, we're now going to skip round number 7. If you're not sure how to do that, have a look in your machine's user manual. It will tell you in there how to skip stitches, how to skip colours, etc. And we can now trim up the excess fabric from both back and front of the hoop. So that's what I'm going to do next. So turn your hoop over and trim around the edge, taking care not to cut your stitches. Question that we get asked from time to time is when I trim my fabric and the satin stitching goes over the edge, the fabric pulls back underneath the stitching. If that happens, use a fusible interfacing on the back of your fabrics. I've got one on this fabric because it tends to do this. I think it's to do with the weave of the material that you use. Some fabrics do it, some don't, but they tend to, when you cut them, the satin stitching either cuts into the weave of the fabric and then you end up with like fraying at the edge, or when you cut it, it pulls back underneath the actual stitch line. So using a fusible interfacing on the back of your fabric will sort that problem out. We're now going to stitch round number 8, and that's going to do the satin stitching around the edge, and it's going to leave the top here because that's where we're going to join this in the next hooping. So load your matching bobbin and thread colour for that into your machine, and then stitch round number 8, and I'm going with the peacock blue still. So that's the first hooping stitch. We can now free our work from the hoop, so turn your hoop over and, taking care not to cut your stitches, cut around the edge of your coaster. I've got one more little job to do to finish this hooping, and that's to trim around the edge of this stitch line on the raw edge so that it's all nice and neat and ready to join in the next hooping. So take a nice sharp pair of scissors and then cut close to the stitches. And that's our first hooping completed, and we can set our work aside for the minute. Load file 5B into your machine along with the neutral bobbin and thread colour. Hoop and pin your 2 layers of wash away stabiliser. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 1, and that's going to give you a placement outline for your batting. And I'm just going with grey for the minute. Place your batting over the outline and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 2 to secure it. Trim away the excess batting from around the edge of the stitch line, taking care not to cut any stitches. Next, we're going to place our fabric over the front and back. So turn your hoop over, place your fabric for the dog over the outline and tape it in place. I'm just using a polar fleece on the back because I don't want it to be too thick. And then place your fabric for the front over the outline. Now, if you're using a faux fur and it's got quite a long pile, make sure that you put a layer of Solvy topper over the top so that the foot doesn't get caught up in the pile, and then tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 3 to secure them all. Load your matching bobbin and thread colour for the white of the eyes into your machine and then stitch round number 4, and I'm going with white. Load your matching bobbin and thread colour for the black of the eyes and the nose into your machine and then stitch round number 5, and I'm going with black. If you're not making your coaster completely reversible, turn your hoop over, place your backing fabric over the back of the hoop, tape it in place and then stitch round number 6. As I've already put the backing onto mine, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip that round, and we're now going to trim up the excess fabric both back and front of the hoop. So turn your hoop over and cut around the edge of the stitch line, taking care not to cut any stitches. My squizzers didn't particularly like that faux fur. Add your neutral bobbin and thread colour into your machine and then stitch round number 7, and that's going to zigzag around here and it's going to stop when we come to do our join. I'm going with white. We now come to the join and we're going to place this stitch line here on top of this stitch line here between where the zigzagging starts and finishes. And then secure it in place. Now, if like me you're using pins, make sure that you keep them right out of the way of the stitch line. A little bit of tape just there to hold those edges nice and flat. And some sellotape straight across there to hold that join in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 8. Now it's going to zigzag along here and join the 2 segments together. So check your join, make sure that you're happy with it. If you're not, unpick the zigzag stitching, reposition your coaster, secure it in place, and then stitch round number 8 again. If you are happy with it, we're now going to stitch round number 9, and that's going to do the satin stitching of the coaster. So load your matching bobbin and thread colour for that into your machine. And I'm going with peacock blue. Load your matching bobbin and thread colour for the satin stitching around the poodle into your machine, and then stitch round number 10. And I'm going with white. Okay, so it's competition time. If you would like a chance to win Kreative Kiwi loyalty points to the value of this design, like, subscribe and give this video a share on your social media. It really does help this channel as it lets YouTube know that you find the content relevant and interesting. So to take part, tell me one fact about dogs in the comments below. This competition will close at midnight on Sunday, the 21st of September, and a winner will be chosen at random from all the valid entries. So be sure to check back and see if it's you. Good luck, and thanks for taking part and supporting this channel. I really do appreciate it. I'm very sorry, I had a bit of a technical hitch. I forgot to push the record button. Ready for the unhooping. So my apologies for that. So you want to turn your hoop over, cut around the edge of your coaster, taking care not to cut any stitches or anything else underneath your hoop, and then you will have caught up with me, and we will then be removing all the excess stabiliser from the joins and around the edges with some warm water and a cotton bud. So dip your cotton bud in and then just wipe it along the seams. All that's left to do now is to remove the Solvy topper. So just pull it off. If you think that the pile of your fleece is a little bit long around the face area, you can just trim it up, give it a bit of a haircut make it a little bit shorter. I don't think I'd ever get a job in a poodle parlour. So when you're done, that's your coaster finished. I hope you enjoyed this stitch along. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified of new videos as soon as they're published. Do pop along to Kreative Kiwi's Facebook group. There's always lots of ideas, help and inspiration there for everybody. And thank you very much for joining me. You'll find a link to this design in the video description below, along with lots of other information such as where I get my supplies and some discount codes for you as well. Take care, and I'll see you next time.